let me back up a little bit. I love high school football stadiums because I know a certain twirler who used to twirl on Friday nights in the high school football stadium. But I was really impressed with this one. I wanted to see it because I figured the setting for it would be great because you have the mountains in the background. You have the sort of cool mountain air. We were there on spring break. And so I just figured it would be, the background would be good. But once we broke the ice with the principal, which Melissa did more ice breaking than I did.
You know, I talked to him. He was really such a nice person, and then took us on a tour, and you would not believe the facilities that they were building at this little rural high school.
It was awesome. We're big supporters of the idea that high schools can bind a community together, and it was very obvious in Van Horn that that is what was going on there. And he was so proud. I remember it was track season. I remember him talking about they had a state level track athlete. I believe he was a high jumper that was getting all sorts of college interest and that sort of stuff. And the track team was out getting ready to practice, and it was just sort of Norman Rockwell-ish.
It really was. Well, there's no better beautiful place to have a Friday Night Lights atmosphere than Van Horn, Texas.
I would go back to Van Horn just for a Friday night game. That would be great. And so the other thing that was interesting, talking about football, as I mentioned, it was just off I-10, and there's a restaurant there named Chewy's. Now there's a chain of Chewy's in Texas that's not that Chewy's.
It's not that Chewy's, but it is really good.
Right. But the interesting thing, well, first we walked in, and there was a Mike Singletary jersey on the wall, who's a Baylor legend, and so we were happy about that. But then we turned around, and there was
a shrine.
It was a shrine to John Madden, the former Raiders coach and then famous football announcer.
Well, you know, I don't know if you all know this, but we're a big sports fan. He was afraid of flying, so he had a bus, and he went cross country to whatever game he was covering.
Right. And one time he was going to cover, I think it was probably the Oilers before the Texans. And he comes from Los Angeles. He's going to be on Highway 10. They're going through Van Horn. John was hungry. They found out about Chewy's restaurant. They stopped, and he loved it.